David, another electric car this week?
A Volvo XC40 Recharge.
This is a bit of an interesting car, isn't it, David? I'll lift the bonnet up in a minute. There's not a lot to see. There is a little bit of storage. It's got a motor for each axle, 150 kilowatt per motor, 300 Newton meters per motor.
660.
What's the 0 to 100?
Is it 4.9?
It is 4.9 seconds. That's enough to be going on with.
Oh, geez.
Doing all four wheels. And of course, there's no transmission to speak of because it's just a reduction gear thing. Let's come and have a look at the front end, which people think is a bit controversial. And it's this, David. This is what some like, some don't like. I'm on the okay wagon with this. You not so much.
When you drove it down south, it got a few bugs on it and it looked like it diminished the value of it significantly.
I have been on a bit of a drive this week and all of my driving has been free of charge because I've been charging at this charger. Now you can see here, excuse the really bad sound. These are the three chargers here in Zetland. Now you'll notice this 50 kilowatt one is the one I normally use. That's broken at the moment, so it's set to charge for free. These other two are the 350 kilowatt chargers and they're 60 cents a kilowatt hour. This one's normally 40 cents a kilowatt hour, but if you're a member of a car club, you get 20% off. The other thing, David, is this is the 2022 model, all sold out.
That's happened with a lot of cars now. They get a shipment in and for electric vehicles, they're sold out. Tesla did that.
Well, indeed, all cars. The difference between this and the 2023 model is this. Hold on, you can't see that. This. And you can see there's a little bit more of a horizontal arrangement on the side. Let's get rid of that.
I think it has developed its sort of prestige features, including the safety as well.
Yeah, well, of course, Volvo's been safety obsessed for 100 million years. And in fact, I came across the other day I think it was an Instagram thing of a Volvo dealership that closed down 30 years ago with all the cars still inside it. They're still there. Oh, 30 years late. Can you imagine all those lovely old 240s and so forth?
It'd be worth a bit of money now.
Would be too. We've still got the hammer of Thor lights or Thor's hammer lights or whatever they're called. The other thing is, of course, like Polestar, I think they're suffering from the semiconductor shortage. So there's no matrix options for any of these as far as I know. Though that may change in the near future. So they're just bringing them all out anyway. They are active cornering, so they do bend when you turn the steering wheel.
I like lights that bend.
Yeah, when you turn the steering wheel. Let's have a look at the back. Around the back, this is quite plain. I mean, apart from the bit of an overhang at the top with the high mount brake light, there's not a lot of detail in this. There's no slashes and dints and bents.
There is one thing, Alan, it's sort of got more curvy lines here, which contrasts with the side of which you are not a great fan.
Yeah, but I still like the simplicity of this. Now, the interesting thing is, apart from this badge which says Recharge Twin, there isn't anything apart from the little blue triangle on the number plate that tells you you've got an electric car. This is a bit of an interesting one, David, but because this chassis is not dedicated to EVs, so it's shared with petrol versions of this, the C40 and the Polestar. They've used the centre tunnel, so they've left it there. It's not got a new floor pan. They've left it there and they've filled it with batteries. So you can see in this graphic that it's coming off the line with the motors and so forth on it, and also the battery. So there's a battery pack along the bottom and one down the middle, which I think is making absolutely best use. Everything is electric, so a quick press of the button. If you've got the key in your pocket, of course, it does have kick to open. I haven't got the key in my pocket. Inside, buttons up here to close and lock, and there's also a little graphic to help you with the kick function if the key's in your pocket. The floor.
Alan, you usually have a quality check on the...
Yeah, that's nice and soft, which I quite like, which also means that you don't hear things thudding against it. And underneath is a place to store cables and what have you. It is, as you said before, asymmetric, but that's because it's covering things up underneath. It is just, after all, a cover, but you could take it out if you wanted a couple of extra litres of storage space. And a ski hatch in the middle, and the seats go down 60/40. And here's the bit that I'm not fussed on, David. Would you like to point it out?
You don't like this very strong line and
Nope, I
very
don't.
straight line. It's almost done with a set square and a protractor,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I don't like it. There's just something jarring about it, but it wouldn't make me not want to buy it. How are you getting in the back? Now, you want to push this headrest up. I can lower that electrically from the front.
Oh, nice room under there. I'm sitting rather upright, but comfortable in a way.
Headroom tons.
Yeah. Allen vents and power and heated seats.
That's 12-volt power, yeah, and heated seats for the outboard seats at the back. And here's those collapsing headrests that I told you about. There's a button here and a button at the back, which I think is rather clever. And you can fold the seats down as easily as doing that.
Where's my button?
Well, David, you can see down here there's a blank where the ICE button would normally be for start, but you putting your bum on that seat's already done all that for you.
I didn't feel a thing.
You're ready to go. You're ready to go. So the only thing you need to do is to pull that into drive with your foot on the brake. But before we head off, let's just have a quick sticky beak at the infotainment system. It's a portrait style system, a button for air conditioning with all the air conditioning controls there. There's also some audio controls here across the bottom. Below that, we've got a keypad that you've got your phone in charging. I've got my phone plugged into the Apple CarPlay, and I've got that stored in there's a little crease just down here on the side of the transmission tunnel. You can always get to the home button by pressing the center button here, and that brings up all the apps that you've got installed on your car.
I like that.
This is so simple. And if you go over here, everything, that's all your controls. You don't have to go searching for things. I've logged into Google and I've logged into My Volvo. So you can see here that if I go into Volvo, there are some things in there that I can control through the app when I'm not in the car. From your kitchen sink, get this nice and cool and nice and warm by the time you get out to your charger. You can see that we're at 84%, which agrees with what's over there on the screen. Now, you've got it, you're all ready to go. Indicators are on this side, of course, because this is an international car. You can see the dash is neatly divided into 3 zones. Oh, I haven't told you my Google story. I couldn't remember my password.
Right.
So I thought, I was sitting in my driveway, tried to change my password, and it logged all of my devices out, including my home devices. And then I couldn't get back in again, so I had to change it again, then had to log the car in again. If they'd have done it just with a QR code, it would have been tickety-boo.
So you just did it then?
Now, so you'll notice over here on that right-hand dial, David, if you could just get up to speed and then take your foot right off. The braking force is immense. And if you're very, very clever, I haven't been using the brake very much at all around town. Gentle squeeze of the accelerator. And in town, one pedal driving is so easy, but even on the highway, I had the one pedal driving on. This has got all the Volvo safety aids. So it's got the pedestrian thing and what have you. We've got the driving aids, so lane centering and so forth. You misjudged that a bit, didn't you? David had to jump on the brakes because he's not quite got it. So when we change over, I will show you what I mean. Without trying to sound condescending.
I think you've missed that boat.
Oh, David, really? I have never been condescending in my life. I'm merely pointing out your foibles. As you can see, we've changed drivers. So, just pull out slowly. Give it a little bit of welly. Nice and smooth, David. Vicious. God, you're vicious. Vicious. So now we're up to speed, David. I'm going to hit that. I just hit the one button. It's gone to the speed that I was at. And it's now keeping me centered and a set distance from the car in front. I can change the distance here with these buttons easily. It does get a bit cranky if you take your hands off the wheel. And it does favour the left-hand side of the lane, which can be a little bit unsettling. This doesn't even have drive modes. That's how confident Volvo are. You can make the steering lighter or heavier, but there are no drive modes. All of the power is available all of the time. And the handling is just down to good engineering. It doesn't need any of those fancy adaptive dampers. See, it's still not using brake. Still not using brake.
Well, that's really quite
Still haven't used it.
You're almost driving like that, rush to a corner, back off, slow significantly.
Still haven't used it. Well, it's because I've driven probably as many EVs as you, but I always try and make sure I drive in one pedal mode. And it's because I like driving in one pedal mode. And once you get used to it, you can really, you can drive it with one pedal. So my brake pads would last a very long time. Now, let's come out here.
Merge.
Oh, I have to merge, but there's a lot of traffic, David. I may have to put my foot, geez. I don't think I'm going to get a break. Yes, I am. Now I had to actually back off. That was only a few seconds. I had to back off because I'd reached the traffic that was going slightly slow. And the other thing too is when you take your foot off the accelerator, it puts the brake lights on.
Yes.
So you don't want to be annoying people behind you.
No.
Well, when I say you don't want to be, you may be annoying the people behind you whether you want to or not.
Or you might want to.
Depends on who's behind you. David, I'm very, very happy with this car. I would happily have it. Decent range, decent looks, excellent acceleration, great grip, quite good handling.
I think it's a prestige car. I think it gives you both a credibility for the comfort features and the safety features, but of course also it's an electric vehicle.
And it is that time, again,
Indeed.
to hit like.
Leave a comment.
And anywhere on the screen for the little round thing to subscribe.
All things to all people.